Nissan Bulavinaka, and a very warm welcome to this coverage of the top of the table clash, the premier of secondary schools rugby grade competition under 18. Master Rakula with me. Master, what are your expectations from this big clash between Marist Brothers and Nasinu Secondary?
Yes, there's a lot of expectation from this game. As we see, both of these teams, they haven't been defeated in the round of pool, and they are fighting for the top of the pool for this game.
That's right. Both teams undefeated coming into this game. A lot of expectations from the players. Of course, poorly taken catch on that occasion by Marist Brothers High School. An early mistake giving Nasinu the advantage. Nasinu in their traditional grey and white, Marist in their traditional red and blue. Our coverage coming to you thanks to Crest 5x5 promotion and of course McDonald's here at Suva Grammar Grounds, with a lot of expectation for this big top of the table clash in the premier grade of secondary schools rugby competition right here on my TV. Everything to play for both teams. And of course, Master Rakula, you mentioned earlier that the coaching staff for both teams have inside knowledge of how the teams play.
Yes, we have Tanyela Wakamoade, who has been coaching Nasinu for the past few years, and then we have Isikeli Kaloniwiti, who has also been coaching Marist for the past few years. And these two coaches, they have very good knowledge of the game, and they have shown in the past they have sent teams right to the final, and we expect them to have a lot of knowledge, inside knowledge for both of the teams they are playing against.
Everything to play for in this game. Winner take all, gets top of the table, gets the advantage when it comes to the quarterfinals in the coming weeks. And now Nasinu spreading the ball wide early, getting the ball out, getting there, getting the possession. Ref says play on. He wasn't tackled on that occasion. Mara's defense swinging over to the far side, but Nasinu with the possession and of course the momentum going forward. The defense from Maris needs to be sturdy. Discipline is important in these areas. Nasinu with possession, but on that occasion, unfortunately, losing the ball forward. Ground conditions not favoring open running rugby, Master Rakula.
Yes, for this game, they need to be playing that tactical kicking game because of the ground condition. And as we see that kick by Marist Brothers, they gained about 20 meters from that play.
That was a very nicely taken kick by the Marist Brothers, first 5/8 on that occasion. Reading the game well, seeing the winger was a bit too deep for Nasinu, and of course planting the ball very nicely, allowing the Marist defense to rush up and stop Nasinu Secondary on that occasion. Ground conditions not favoring this type of rugby. The ball needs to be in deep in the half of either team for possession to count. And now Marist slowly coming up to the line out, setting themselves up for what's to be their first attacking raid into Nasinu. Nasinu looking at trying to disrupt this line out. Nicely taken by Marist on that occasion. Ref says the game was good, the line out was good, play on. Urging the Nasinu players to get back on side. Nasinu defense stout on that occasion, halting the Marist maul. But Marist with possession, nicely taken, almost lost the pass, but of course he breaks the first line of defense. Get Marist on the attack inside the half of Nasinu Secondary School. Nasinu defense stopping him on that occasion, driving him back, getting the big legs pumping. Possession still with Marist though. Outside the 22 of Nasinu, they set the ball up. The number 10 for Marist, looking for runners, looking for that off-handed pass. He gets it, but of course the Nasinu defense answering the question. Passing getting a bit lackluster from Marist, and of course Nasinu back with possession in the attack close to the halfway of Marist. Nasinu driving the ball strongly over the half of Marist. Marist need to get back, need to reset the defense. Nasinu with the momentum, and of course unfortunate on that occasion. Possession not going well, a bit scrappy in the first half, Master Rakula.
Yes, both teams are trying to get a feel of each other in the early stages of the game. They're trying to find out the strength of the opposition. They're trying all sorts of things, and in this occasion, again, Marist gaining from that territorial kick, resulting in this line out just inside the 22 of Nasinu Secondary School.
It's early stages in the first half, Master Rakula, but I would give the advantage to Marist in terms of the tactical kicking.
Yes, tactical kicking is moving them forward, but for Nasinu, unfortunately, it's for Nasinu, the defense is what is keeping them into this game. They are really defending well, and for Marist, they just need to be patient with the ball. They need to stay calm and try to play as a unit.
That's right. A lot of expectations from both these teams going into this top of the table clash. Nasinu under a bit of pressure on that occasion. The line out not working well. Marist disrupting nicely, and now Marist with the line out deep inside the half of Nasinu. Nasinu Secondary School's defense has been quite good early on in the first half. The defensive structure has held quite nicely, putting Marist under a lot of pressure. And on that occasion, Marist turning over, and now Nasinu Secondary School back with the ball. Marist line out not communicating well on that occasion. Nasinu still have possession. The forwards try and drive it up, get themselves a few more meters, give the kickers a bit more time to clear the ball from their half. Good high kick, but it goes to the center of the field, and now Marist with options on left and right. The fullback looking for runners. He's going across field. Breaks the first line, breaks the second line, rumbles the ball up strongly, takes defenders with him, which is what Marist need. They're on the front foot, the pass a bit high, but of course another good solid tackle by Nasinu Secondary School on that occasion. Marist still with possession. They still have the ball, but the defense of Nasinu coming up on that occasion. The passes from Marist not going to hand, but on that occasion one-on-one and a good offload to the winger. Cuts back in, looks for a support runner, can't find it. Nasinu defense scrambles well. Marist on the attack deep inside the half of Nasinu, and it looks like Marist has scored the first try in this under-18 cracker here at Suva Grammar Grounds. Marist 5, Nasinu 0. Master Rakula.
Yes, it is a hooker's try. As we see the Marist hooker at the end of that passing passage and resulting in that try. That's Jason Monua scoring that try for Marist Brothers High School. He has been with the Fiji Rugby League team that toured Australia earlier this year. And Monua, that is a name, well-known name for Marist Brothers High School. His brother played in the 2015. He was also wearing the number 2 jersey for Marist, and now his brother Jason just taking over from his elder brother left off.
That's right, showing that greatness runs in the blood. A well-taken try, and of course, Master Rakula, nothing better than a hooker scoring a try.
Yes, that is the Popos Club, and they're scoring Popos Club. That's the try from the front row, and that is what's known internationally, as we see the Bulati about to take this kick from just 5 meters inside the line out.
That's right. He's had a good game so far with his tactical kicking. Let's see how the conversion goes. Very important with Nasinu's defense being on par so far, except for that minor mishap. Nice high taken kick. It looks like it's going to be a bit short, Master Rakula.
Yes, it was on target, but unfortunately lacking the distance. And Marist Brothers High School making their game plan, letting it known how they want to play this game. They want to play it openly, and they also mixing the backline with the forwards in that passage of play.
That's right, one-on-one, hooker versus winger, 3 meters from the try line. The hooker will win every time, using brute force to get over the try line. A nice high taken kick, but poorly judged by Nasinu on that occasion. And now Marist with the advantage. Unfortunately, Nasinu, they need to keep their concentration. They need to focus on the little things, Master Rakula.
Yes, for Nasinu, for their coaching staff, Skeli Kaloniviti, he will be very, very familiar with some of the players in this Marist side. He coached them at Marist Brothers last year. Players like Tiri, players like Minimbi, and other players in the Marist team who are still 17, and they are playing up this year in the under-18 for Marist.
That's right. Age grade rugby is all about making it through from the juniors right here to the premier level. Under-18 secondary schools rugby. Coke Zero Deans. Very scrappy that occasion by Marist, losing possession. Nasinu has the ball and, of course, the scrum advantage and an opportunity to get back into this game. Their defense has been good in the early stages of the first half. Their attack needs to also work well, needs to get them back into the game. This is a good place for Nasinu to be. Middle of the ground, inside the Marist half. Marist defense needs to be alert to the set piece. Let's have a look at this scrum. Contested scrums in under-18 rugby. Marist with the push, but Nasinu with the possession. And of course, unfortunately on that occasion, Master Rakula, an infringement by Nasinu.
Yes, when your scrum is under pressure, that's what's going to happen. You're going to try all sorts of things to try and win that ball, and it's very unfortunate for Nasinu. They played the ball inside the scrum, resulting in this penalty to Marist Brothers High School.
And unfortunately for Nasinu on that occasion, a missed opportunity, and now Marist with an opportunity to go inside the half of Nasinu once again. Under 18 secondary schools rugby, it's going to be a cracker. Top of the table clash, two of the big guns in secondary schools, Southern Zone, Coke Zero Deans Rugby.
Yes, as we take play inside the Nasinu territory, we also take this time to say Bulavinaka to the two principals. We've got Mr. John Nagan from Nasinu and also, of course, the principal of Marist Brothers High School. Good afternoon to you, sir.
That's right. Warm welcome to the parents, the teachers, and of course the officials from secondary schools rugby who sacrifice their Saturdays to watch the future Ben Volavolas, Nemani Nandolos, and all the greats hone in their skills to become the best players of the future. This is where it all begins. This is where it starts. These are where the greats of the game hone and professionalize their skills for the future. Good solid defense by Nasinu again. Their defense has put them in a good attacking position. They have possession. Maris under the kosh a little bit inside the 10-meter. Nasinu back with the ball. Looking for runners. Trying to find the pass. Takes the tackle. Sets the ball up. 10 meters inside Maris territory. Nasinu secondary rumbling it up through the forwards. Getting the ball on the front foot. Behind the game line, running it through the backs, hitting it at pace. Nice offhanded pass. Ref says play on. Ball didn't go forward. Nasinu hot on attack. And of course, unfortunately for Marist, for Nasinu on that occasion, they just ran out of room, Master Rakula.
Yes, but credit to their players. They're running off the ball, but they still need to have that awareness of where the touchline is, and they still need to have that awareness of where the supporting players are.
That's right. Nasinu's defense has been quite good in the first half. Only one minor miscommunication amongst the Nasinu players resulting in that early Marist try. But now the ref and the linesman having a bit of a powwow, having a bit of a discussion, getting a report. Like you said, Master Rakula, zero tolerance for secondary schools rugby.
Yes, zero deans and zero tolerance for this match.
That's true, that's true.
Yeah, and we also say Bulivinaga to Waisaki Kalibeta, one of the officials from the Lumeri secondary schools who came all the way from Lumeri just to be here and be part of this game.
Big Bulavinaka, sir, welcome. Thank you so much for supporting secondary schools rugby. He's invited everyone on my TV to his place for a mix after the game. And of course, now the ref saying penalty to Nasinu. I think there was a high tackle in that last phase of play, Master Rakula.
Yes, the player, I think it was Tiri who lifted the player off the ground, resulting in that penalty to Nasinu.
Master Rakula, you and I have been following secondary schools rugby since the first round. And of course, discipline is critical in big games like these.
Yes, discipline is one of those factors that can make or break a game. And in this instance, we are here to see, as we see the Nasinu supporters urging their kicker on. They usually come out in numbers. They are a boarding school in Suva, and they are here in numbers to show their support for their under-18 team.
That's right. The under-18 team is on a bit of a roll in this year's Coke Zero Deans Rugby Championship, being undefeated. Coming into this game, as we see the number 10 for Nasinu lining it up, getting his range, setting his sights. Nasinu need this penalty. They've had a lot of momentum going in through their defense. Nice high kick, Master Rakula. What do you reckon?
Yes, and it goes over, move.
Excellently taken kick by Nasinu in difficult conditions. Weather not being friendly to both teams that are playing here today, but Nasinu taking advantage of it. The number 10 for Nasinu on screen now. Took advantage of his opportunity, found his range, and now Maris 5, Nasinu 3, under 18 secondary schools, Coke Zero Deans Rugby. It's full swing here at Nasinu grounds with a great crowd to support the future superstars of the great game. Ref telling the Maris runners to get back. Don't want them to get penalized. These little niggly things can haunt a team in the latter stages of the game. Nice high kick. Nasinu automatically takes the clearing kick. Big kick down. Marist let it bounce, put himself under a bit of pressure, but of course he breaks the first and second tackles nicely. Gets himself up around near the halfway line. Marist with possession, and of course runners on the outside. Marist forwards using their size to their advantage. Possession needs to be protected a bit more by Marist. The defense of Nasinu answering the question. Big run by the prop from Marist Brothers High School. Take 5 tacklers with him. Deep inside the half, Marist on attack. They need to get the ball wide faster. The passes need to be a bit cleaner and crisper. Marist, of course, rumbling it up. Nasinu defense stout once again. The rush defense of Nasinu doing well. Marist under a bit of pressure, but of course the advantage to Marist. I think Nasinu was offside on that occasion, but Marist still with possession, and now Nasinu contesting. Marist still with the ball and the advantage just outside the 22. Pass a bit too high on that occasion. Looking for the little offload pass, a fresh advantage to Marist for a high shot. The ref is signaling, and now Marist back with the ball. Options on either side. Goes for the kick. Nasinu cleans it up nicely, but the penalty for Nasinu Master Rakula.
Yes, the Marist Brothers High School, they've been utilizing the forwards. They're trying to make use of the players. They're trying to play the territorial game. They're trying to spread the defense to try and change the point of defense. And each time their attack is ready, they try and use the blind side to try and suck in the defenses left and right. But take credit also to Nasinu. They should take credit of their defenses. They are really organizing well. They are shifting the players around, and it's still early into the game. But from what we have seen so far, Merv, it is the defense of Nasinu against the flair of this Marist side.
That's right. The defense of Nasinu has been quite good throughout this game. They've really answered the question. And of course, Marist, their entire game is structured around their first 5. He's the one dictating play. And now Marist, as a testament to Nasinu's defense, opt for the kick, go for the 3-pointer. Of course, this kick looks to be about around 35-40 meters out from the Nasinu goalmouth. Master Rakula, what do you reckon?
Yes, every time they go into the Nasinu territory, they try to get as much point as they get. And they are not wasting this opportunity. They're taking this opportunity. Whether it goes through or not, they will still have the ball back.
Nice high kick by Marist on that occasion. Goes through the post. Marist building on this lead. 3 points. Another 3 points for the boys from Flagstaff. Score now 8 points to 3 as we see some of the parents cheering them on. Nicely taken kick by Marist. That penalty very well taken by the fullback, but of course still Master Rakula in my mind. The first round, that 55-meter kick by the St. John, first 5.
Yes, that kick is still the longest kick we have seen so far in this year's competition, and we will just have to wait and see if anyone can go beyond that.
Marist, of course, now with possession, a deep kickoff by Nasinu. Kick skies off the side of the boot, and of course Marist losing possession cheaply. Nasinu back hot on the attack. Nasinu's defense, Master Rakula, has answered the question on numerous occasions.
Yes, they have backed up their defense. They know that they can take on this Marist team front on, but they will still need to stop that Marist forward drive in this game.
That's right. Nasinu back with possession, back on attack. The Marist defense is reset, looking for runners. The first 5 dictating play quite well for Nasinu. Gets the ball behind the game line, gets tackled very well. And of course, Nasinu back with possession, but they're behind the game line. And of course, the rush defense of Marist has come up quickly, pushing Nasinu back. But Nasinu still maintaining possession, still opting for the one-off runner. Nasinu back with possession, breaks the first tackle, gets beyond the game line, sets his team up. They still have possession. The Marist defense closing down Nasinu, opting for the chip. The chase needs to be a bit better from Nasinu. Unfortunately, Master Rakula, I reckon he wasted possession on that occasion.
But on this ground condition, he had players outside him. He should have given the pass to try and keep those balls. But nonetheless, they have gained a few meters from that play, but still Marist to throw in the lineup.
That's right. The ground conditions favoring these long grubbers, and of course Marist need to secure possession. They're putting themselves under pressure. Nasinu's defense coming to the foray. Once again, getting the ball back. They're contesting the maul. They're trying to get possession. Ref says yes, Nasinu. Penalty. And of course, on that occasion, Master Rakul, I think he was playing the ball on the ground.
Yes, handle ball on the ground. Marist players, they need to get their numbers behind the player with the ball in order to secure that ball. First, you have to secure the ball before you can play it.
That's right. Nasinu supremely confident their defense can answer the question, and they have so far in this first half, putting themselves in a nice position for another attacking raid inside the half of Marist. Marist under the cosh a little bit, under a bit of pressure. Top of the table rugby is all about pressure, all about understanding your defense, understanding your opposition, playing to the whistle. And of course, discipline a key component. Nasinu with the win in the line out, but the ref says no. Unfortunately, Master Rakul, I think he knocked it on.
No, the line out wasn't straight, and our ref for this afternoon, Amina Sitan Rao, he's also one of those ref that had been used by the IRB. He had been used in the IRB series. He has refereed abroad, and we have an experienced referee with us this afternoon.
That's right, bringing his wealth of experience from refereeing on the global game to secondary schools rugby. Just the kind of thing secondary schools rugby needs to help these young players develop into the future superstars of this great game. As Nasinu push, try and get Marist on the back foot, but Marist secure possession and try to clear the ball out. Their forwards getting back into the game, getting back into the ruck. Protecting possession, Nasinu putting them under pressure. The rush defense of Nasinu coming up, and of course Marist with the misfired kick. A nice take by the winger. He looks at, beats the fence. Unfortunately, he is so frustrated. That was a good, solid beat by Nasinu, Master Rakula.
Yes, that's what all coaches want from a winger, inside out. And he had beaten that Marist brothers defender in front of him. Unfortunately, he was a bit too optimistic, and he lost the ball forward.
That was very nice. Would have been a good try had he maintained possession. That winger for Nasinu, number 14. He shook his head in frustration. He's on screen now. You could tell that he was so frustrated. He had beaten the Marist winger hands down with his fancy footwork. Unfortunately, couldn't maintain possession as we go back to the line-out. And now the ref says it looks like a technical line-out issue from Marist.
Yes, closing in the gaps. They did not maintain that gap and resulting in this free kick to Nasinu.
And Nasinu back in possession, back on the attack. The Marist defense has been called. Back with possession, the defense of Marist coming to the foray. The ref trying to keep an eye on the game. The pass a bit high, but Nasinu back with possession, and unfortunately on that occasion, Marist back with the ball, and of course looking for runners on the outside. They have the break, they have the overlap. He needs to get the ball a bit wider, cuts back into the number 3. Marist back to the inside center. The Nasinu defense under a bit of pressure. Marist building the phases inside of the 22 of Nasinu. Ball needs to come out a bit quicker. Nasinu defense has reset. Marist still on the attack inside the 22 of Nasinu Secondary School. The Nasinu defense stout on that occasion. Ref calling the advantage. Looks to be a player lying on the ball. Marist flinging the ball out wide. Unfortunately, lost possession. Master Rakula, good phase of play from both teams.
Yes, a good phase of play from both teams as we see the Nasinu players coming up offside, resulting in this penalty to Marist Brothers High School. And in that passage of play, Marist need to keep that possession. Even though they are running forward, they need to attack the gap and not attack the man in that occasion. Move.
This is our first opportunity to see these two teams in action right here on my TV, and so far it's been a cracker. The attack of Marist versus the awesome defense of Nasinu Secondary School. Both teams are tied at the top of the table. They want that top spot and the advantage that top of the table teams have going into the playoffs. As Marist opt for another penalty, like you said, Master Rakula, every opportunity Marist has inside the Nasinu half, they want points.
Yes, and it shows what their intention is, and compared to other previous teams, this team is not banking only on their strength. They're also banking on the strength of their kickers. They try to take those opportunities, give a rest to their forwards, and keep the points rolling.
There we go. Marist setting the kick. This first 5 for Marist is the go-to man for this team, moving them forward. He's got a good boot. Unfortunately, like just as we say, he's had a good boot. He misses the ball. The commentator's curse has hit him again, Master Akula.
Yes, he did not take a lot of time in preparing for that kick. He needs to take his time, especially taking those penalties. That was a straight from in front of the goal post, and he needs to take time and try and get that point.
That's right. Score still 8-3 in favor of the boys from Flagstaff. Taken on the fly by Marist, looking for runners left and right, beats the first tackle, goes straight into the tackle, hard and fast. Defense says, come here, I've got ya. And now Marist still with possession. Nasinu's defense has been good all game, but they're rumbling the ball up forward. They're getting a bit of momentum. They're starting to get the upper hand. They're looking for runners. Possession needs to be maintained. And just as we say that, Master Akula, possession is lost.
Yes, for Marist brothers, they know that they have a dominant forward, but at the same time, they need to keep balling in. With the ground condition, they need to set up play and try and use those forwards to run through the gaps, and not only run through the gaps, but to try and find where the supporting players are and set play from there.
That's right. The tactical kicking of Marist has been a bit absent in the latter stages of this first half, but they still have possession, but possession, scrappy ball running along the ground. And, of course, breaking the first tackle, getting Marist back on the front foot, getting them into the attacking zone of Nasinu Secondary School. Nasinu Secondary School's rush defense has worked well for them in the first half. It's unfortunate the pass was not well executed by the halfback for Marist, Master Akula.
Yes, the halfback for Marist brothers is Benji, and for Benji, as we have mentioned earlier, they need quick ball off the base of the any ruck, because the forwards are there, and they are there in numbers, but when you stall the pass, it allows the defense to set, and it makes it difficult for the attack to go through move.
Yeah, I think Marist need to adjust their attacking strategy to counter the rush defense of Nasinu, because at this stage, Nasinu's rush defense has worked very well for them. But the Marist scrum coming to the fore here once again. The halfback Benji has the ball, but unfortunately, on that occasion, I think a high tackle by Nasinu Secondary School, Master Akula.
Yes, that was around the neck, and but Amina Sitan Rao is calling the scrum to reset again. I think that ball wasn't hooked by the hook of Nasinu, and it came off, and so he's calling for the same channel play.
As we see the scrum being reset, Marist has a slight advantage over Nasinu in the scrums. Nasinu need to get the ball out quickly. Set the ball up through the tunnel. The Marist is pushing hard, but Nasinu maintained possession. The number 8 opts for the kick, which you don't often see, but it's a good kick. Good chase by the number 8 from Nasinu Secondary School, leading by example. Marist with possession around the halfway mark of Nasinu Secondary School. Opts for the chip, a charge down, but Marist maintained possession and have the ball back. Ref says no. I think it's a knock-on, Master Akula.
No, it was a forward pass from the first 5'8", from the second 5'8". The player ran in front of him, resulting in that forward pass.
As we see our referee for today, he's been around the world refereeing for World Rugby at a number of major events, and he's brought his experience and, of course, mentorship to secondary schools rugby. Just what these young players need. Help guide them through this difficult period of becoming transitioning from secondary schools rugby to professional rugby, Master Akula.
Yes, and for the Marist players, we have number 3 there, Skelly Lume. He has played in the final of the Deans last year in the under-18 for Marist. Now he's playing at Luzet Prop, and that's some experience for the Marist Brothers High School.
They'll need to draw on that experience for this top-of-the-table clash with one of the big guns, Nasinu Secondary School. Marist scrum really working overtime, putting Nasinu under tremendous pressure, but the ref says the ball was clean and Nasinu maintained possession. Forwards reset. They need to clear the ball quickly. Nice high kick by Nasinu Secondary School, but the ref's linesman says I think he was outside the 22.
Yes, he was a mile outside the 22, and that's a plus to the Marist Brothers High School because of their scrum. the scrum set that platform, allowing this attack inside the Nasinu territory move.
That's right, around the 10-meter line of Nasinu. Marist on the attack. The opportunity to build on this lead. Nasinu's defense has been good all game. Marist now with possession. Looking at building off the set piece. Solid line out, bit scrappy, but Marist still have possession. Still going with the offload and putting themselves under tremendous pressure, but Nasinu unfortunately couldn't get the ball on that occasion. Marist back with possession and the attack. Looking for runners on the outside. Nasinu defense shifting quite nicely, pushing Marist to the far side of the touchline. Marist maintain the ball, bring it back on the inside. Ref says advantage to Marist. I think it's an offside. We'll have to wait and see what the ref says, but Marist now with the advantage. Unfortunately, the one aspect I see that's letting Marist down is the passing, Master Rakula.
Yes, they are a bit too optimistic about the passes. Some passes are going above their heads, and at the same time, the runners, they need to be coming up. And now Tandrau is called for that offside play from Nasinu, and it has gifted Marist with another opportunity to try and keep the scoreline ticking.
That's right. Marist with the penalty. Ref says Nasinu was offside. But Nasinu Secondary School's defense has been really good in the first half, apart from that one minor lapse early on. As we see the kick being lined up, opting for the tap. Marist Brothers High School looking at changing things up, putting Nasinu under pressure. Nasinu defense has been good, but of course they're under a bit of pressure now by Marist inside their half. That was lucky for Marist on that occasion. Master Rakula. Nasinu looked like they had secured possession.
Yes, they have butchered that penalty. They need to be sure of what they're doing. For where they are, they need to keep it tight. They should try and keep it tight. Try and suck in the defense. Their forwards are rolling in well, but if they're trying to play it loose, Nasinu will capitalize on it because their defense have been rushing up all day long. Move.
That's right. Don't ever say you're too young for national duties. Look at some of the greats that have played for their country at the ages of 7. O'Connor for Australia made his debut as a 17-year-old. Akira Ioane also made his debut for the All Blacks at the age of 17 and a half. You're never too young to be called up for your country. Pressure on now, Nasinu. Defense holding once again, pushing Marist back aggressively. Looks like Marist has lost possession, I think. We have to check. It's getting a bit scrappy. They still have possession, but Nasinu now with the ball. And of course a chance to clear their lines. A lost opportunity to Marist on that occasion, Master Rakula.
Yes, and a missed opportunity. They tried too hard in that occasion, and now Nasinu is about to clear from the line.
Good high clearance by Nasinu. The Marist winger slips, putting his team under a bit of pressure. Nasinu runs up quickly, and of course crossing. That's what good defense can get you. Back on the attack, Master Rakula. He's opting for the tap, the run, the quick tap and the go. Nasinu with the momentum, but Marist piling in the forwards. The ref says no. I think they were within the 10, Master Rakula.
Yes, they were within the 10, and also they did not release that player on the ground, resulting in that penalty to Nasinu. So as we see Merv, Nasinu are beginning to show what their intentions are. They are trying to run these big Marist forwards around. They are beginning to take those quick taps, even though it's still early into the game, but their intention is very clear, Merv.
That's right. They want to tire these Marist forwards out early, get them out of the game, neutralize the big Marist forward pack. Nasinu with the advantage in terms of the defense. They may not have the size, but they have the stature and they have the ability to hold Marist for long phases of play when it comes to defense. Now their attack needs to be at the forefront. Nasinu need to secure possession, which they do through the lineout. Ref says play on. Pass goes a bit high. Nasinu under a bit of pressure, but they still maintain possession. Marist defense starts to fall off. They need to tackle the player. Need to stop the player in his tracks. Defense is important now for Marist. Nasinu building the phases, building the momentum. looking at sucking in a few Marist forwards before resetting the play. It's halftime here, but that's a horrific pass from the halfback from Nasinu, putting his first five under tremendous pressure. And now the ref says penalty to Marist as we hear the halftime hooter sound in the background. Marist say, no, we want to keep this game going. We need another try. They have the momentum. They have the advantage. Opts for the kick. Nasinu defense needs to be on par. Marist there chasing as well, but the bounce of the ball ends the first half, Master Akula, here in Suvagrama.
Yes, a good first 35 minutes for this game, and both teams really showing what they are made up of, and a good game, Mamuf.
That's right. Game still on a knife edge. Top of the table clash. Coca-Cola Zero Deans Rugby. Southern Zone under 18 at its very best right here on My TV, thanks to Crest 5x5 promotion and McDonald's.